You know what? I think they did a good job. Neutral zone defense is a transition. I think early on we just tried to make a few too many plays. Just didn't get to our game. Like I think through the neutral zone where sometimes they got good gaps, so you got to put it in behind. Try to make that extra play, and they transition and they're dangerous off the rush. So I think there was parts of our game that we liked, and there were certainly times that we were happy with how we were playing, the pressure or the chances we were creating. I think sometimes you just have to be patient when the team's going to sit back a little and kind of force you. They've got some really good sticks back there and real good gaps. So I think just a little bit of stubbornness on our part, and credit to the Lightning, they played a really good game.
From up above, they look like a team that was, it's early in the season, but they look like a team that wasn't interested in losing 5 in a row. Did you see some urgency in their game?
I think, coming off the break, I don't know if, you kind of park those losses, but when you're given that much practice time, I think, kind of the messaging from the coaching staff, I'm assuming, is you're going to be sharp, you want to execute. And, I think they did a good job of getting into their game quicker than we did, and, kind of forcing us into some untimely mistakes and uncharacteristic turnovers by our group. So, I think they played a real solid game, and especially missing one of their key cogs and Braden points. So, I think there was parts of our game, but going into Florida now, we know how we look when we're playing at our best, and certain things we need to do differently stylistically to be successful. And we'll go over the video tomorrow and have a good practice and just get right back at it.
Yeah, you've only had to respond to a loss one time, but the first time you did that, you rattled off 7 in a row. I guess.
A little rusty.
Something that you build on, or?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of resilience in this group. Not that we've gotten off to such a good start that we haven't faced a ton, but anytime you lose in this league, you kind of want to put it behind you. There's things you want to review. There's things that you want to work on, and there's going to be areas of the game we look at tomorrow that we're not going to want to replicate against the Panthers, and then there's going to be things we're going to look at. How our team's going to need to look to play against a really good team in Florida. So, I think we've got a real good positive mindset. We're still in a great spot. We didn't love the whole 60 minutes, but parts of our game we liked, and the rest is kind of something we'll just need to improve on.
John Cooper said this morning that one of the best attributes you guys have is that you don't beat yourself. How have you gotten to that point?
Well, I think that's trust in the structure in the game plan Arnie's putting out for us. Stylistically, we try and look the same every night. I know every line goes out and accomplishes it a little bit differently, but the routes we run, the compete we have out on the ice, the structure we have defensively, and I think that's kind of what makes a successful team. Some nights when you're not executing, you can still win those tightly contested 2-1 games, and that's what we try and do. Obviously, we've had a great start, and we scored a lot of goals, but I still think one of our team's best attributes is our 5-on-5 defensive play, and that's going to continue to, or that's going to need to continue to be the case if we want to continue on this run we're on.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
What was the biggest challenge that the Lightning presented for you guys tonight?
I thought they defended real well. They didn't let us enter through the neutral zone with possession much. There were times we were stubborn and didn't get it behind them, but that kind of seemed to be their recipe. They did a really good job just bottling our speed up and creating turnovers.
It seemed like it was tough to get a sustained zone time as well too. Was that more of what you guys weren't doing, or is it more of their ability to defend?
Maybe a little bit of both. They did defend real hard, obviously, when you only score 1 goal, and the way we've been scoring. They defended real well, and like I said, when you don't come through the zone clean because their neutral zone, how they played us, it will create a little more challenge to get that zone time. But you got to tip your cap to them. They played a good game.
It's something that they adapted after the first meeting. I mean, twice in 11 days. Were they a little sharper in that regard? Or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some things change. You get, they dictate matchups. They, it kind of changes the game in that sense. But yeah, they played a better game than us tonight, and that's why they won.
What did you see from Aaron Comrie? Obviously, he's battling pretty hard in there.
Yeah, I thought Com's played really good again. He's been good all year for us. Both our goaltenders have, and yeah, he made some great saves tonight. Early in the game, late in the game, he kept us in that one.
What was the most important part for you guys rebounding after the first loss of the season? What can you take as you get ready for Saturday to close out the road trip?
Yeah, I think it's just put it behind us. It's kind of been our motto after wins. It's just on to the next. So kind of gonna flush this one out tonight and then have a good skate tomorrow and just get on to Florida.
Thank you. To your game and structure in the first?
They came out hard. We knew they had 7 days off, and hadn't gone well for them. They were gonna come after us, and they did. And took us a little bit to get into it, but I thought we got up and running probably the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first. We had some opportunities, we had some chances. They capitalized on theirs. But at the end of the day, it's it's a desperate team. They were coming out hard at us. We knew they were going to be strong, and we just move on.
Yeah, your power play has been such a weapon, and again, it's hard to be running at 40+%. But what were some of the challenges they had? Was it puck support or the shot selection, or what did you see?
Well, they were extremely aggressive. They weren't going to give us time to stand still and make easy plays. They were after us to hurry. We didn't get enough. I think we only had one shot in the 4 power plays. So for us, our mindset is always to attack and create the shot that creates a scramble and other opportunities. But you know what? It's kind of we'll just like I said, we'll reset that as well. We'll look at some other things and got to get prepared for Florida.
Yeah, because puck management has been such a strength. Just kind of one of those tough things. You have a 4-on-2 and it doesn't get wide enough, and they come back and. Just one of those things that happens, I guess, right?
Yeah, that was probably the first 12, 13 minutes of that period. We didn't get through there. They weren't going to give us odd man rushes. This wasn't going to be like maybe the opportunities we got the other night in New York. They were making sure that this wasn't going to be a trading chances off the rush game, and they clogged it up pretty well. And once we realized that they were doing that and recognizing that the puck had to get below the hash marks and get to work, we did that. Like I said, around the 12, 13-minute mark, we finally got ourselves where we're into our offensive forecheck kind of zone time.
Right, but second and third didn't really sustain it as much as you would like.
They have push too, so it was, there were some penalties in there. I thought that, it's one of those scenarios that I thought there were some really good looks. We had some good opportunities. obviously the Lowry line went out and scored a big goal for us, and but at the end of the day, I think that they were on a mission. They weren't going to let us get into our game, and that's a good lesson for us. We know that how we have to continue to play. That we know what helps us have success, and just get back to it here another night from now.
What can you lean on? I mean, obviously only one previous loss, but the way you responded to it, and how do you take that into Saturday?
Yeah, we've done a really good job. Whether obviously we've won a lot of games or the Toronto game, we set that behind us. You got to move on. Like I said, the schedule is so crazy and busy that you can't dwell on what's happened in the past. We got to go forward here, and hey, we're seeing the Stanley Cup champions and back to a couple of games in a row here. So we know we have to be at our best.
What impressed you most about Eric Comrie's ability to keep it a one-shot game for as long as he did?
Yeah, that stop at the end of the second period on the power play with no much time left there obviously was huge from the slot. Just gives us a chance to stand it. And I thought that we had some really good looks when it was 3-1. Chances to maybe make that 3-2, but at the end of the day, they were the better team, and like I said, we'll just move off of it. And I thought Combs, he's been really good for us, and he's given us a chance every night, to stay in hockey games or win games, and can't fault him.
And last one, just any theories on why it's sort of a little spicy out there with these two teams, even though they only play twice a year?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not on the ice. I mean, that's just two competitive teams.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.